audiology booth replacement, door reader access fob replacement, and an executive session. Is there any revision to our agenda? Are we good? Okay. So then public comments. I don't know if we have anybody on for public comments.
It doesn't look like it.
Okay. Audiology booth replacement.
I'll give a little start to that and then I'll let Renee finish the piece. This is a grant funded upgrade for the audiology booth that's housed at Molly Stark Elementary School. We have an additional grant it's connected to title funding. It's called Comprehensive Supports. It's accessible to Molly Stark, Bennington Elementary School, the Mount Anthony Middle School, and Panel Elementary School. We are in the second of 3 years of this extra funding. This particular request, we were given additional money in January and asked by the state of Vermont to move as quickly as we could to spend this additional money. When we reached out, we are proud to share that the audiology booth can be used district-wide. We actually, what's the date on it? 1958.
That's crazy.
So we submitted this through Molly Stark's portion of the funding. It also can be used throughout the district. Our goal and the way that we shared with the state was we are very incredibly focused right now on reading instruction around the district on specifically our primary grades, 1st through 3rd, and hearing is incredibly important. And so in partnership with our audiologist, Dr. Stephanie O'Flaherty, who put this whole proposal together for us in remarkable time, and our director of operations, who I think is at the track meet, Holly Anderson, really worked to make this happen. So the request, I'll turn it over to Renee. So this is grant money. This is all grant money that we already have that's been approved for this use.
So
That's the question. This is portable or it's stationary?
no, it will be built in.
Built in?
Yeah.
So anybody using it from other than Molly Stark has to.
Which has been the past practice. I will tell you just on the side, the audiologist goes out. So our district audiologist is mobile, but this is, the booth is actually, helps to be very diagnostic. Sometimes we have students that we need to go to a deeper grade size.
It's the sound isolate.
Yes.
Correct, yes.
So we reached out to, or Stephanie and the operations team reached out to 4 vendors. We had 3 responses, one of which was incomplete and did not have installation costs included. So of the remaining 2 that were deemed responsive and complete, E3 Diagnostics for $61,760 is what we are looking for the board to award this evening. And I actually had $62,000 put in the grant, so we're covered.
What was the other offer? You said.
The other one that was considered responsive and complete came in at $71,945.
Okay, and you consider them comparable
Yes.
in terms of equipment?
Yeah, and the other issue with the noise barriers
Yeah.
bid, Dr. O'Flaherty said that booth isn't compatible with the other equipment that she uses currently. So the other 2 that were responsive and complete actually do work. So she is fully supportive. She reviewed everything too and confirmed that E3 Diagnostics is a reputable company she's worked with before.
Thank you.
So supportive.
So we'd be looking for a motion
I'll
on
make
this.
that motion.
I'll second.
And the motion is,
To award the bid for the audiology booth and installation to E3 Diagnostics as quoted in the amount of $61,760.
And what's the timeline on this?
So tomorrow, we have to, it has to be, we have to have it in our hands by June 30th. So
Okay.
tomorrow morning, first thing. The order is,
That means it has to be installed by June.
We'll obligate the funds. So it was, and I know, I think there's probably,
You want it by June 30th.
yeah,
correct.
we should be good,
Okay.
but there's definitely a long lead time.
Uh-huh.
We will do it tomorrow if the board supports it.
Call the question.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. Any further question or discussion? Not all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Anyone abstaining? So that is a unanimous
Yay.
support.
Thank you
Thank you.
so
Right.
much. Thank you.
Well, and thank you guys for pulling this together. It sounds like it was, like many things, it's hurry, hurry, hurry.
And a team effort, lots of.
Yeah. Okay, next on our list, we have door reader access fob replacements.
And there.
And Adam is on.
Hi, Adam.
Hi, guys. Good evening. So we've been going to various boards, working on upgrading the security system across the district. We're in a position right now where we have the opportunity to basically combine what across the entire district, there's 4 door reader or door control systems throughout the district. So what that means is that in order for us to give someone access to the entire district, we have to go to 4 different buildings to give them access. We have an opportunity to merge all the buildings into one system. So that would be across Arlington, Bennington Elementary, which was recently just completed, the middle school, and all of the other elementary schools. So we're looking for approval to move forward with $61,465.92 to upgrade the door access system across the district. There's going to be improvements when it comes to, employee onboarding. When we consolidate everything into one system, HR will be able to issue ID cards to incoming team members and give them access to their respective building versus the current process is to submit a request to IT and wait for IT to literally drive to some buildings in some cases and give them access. So we'll be able to streamline the process from an onboarding perspective, and then also from a security perspective. There'll be one system which makes granting access to whether it's public safety, whether it's fire, EMS, police, or granting access, to the security staff within the district. It makes that whole process more streamlined.
Celeste has her hand raised.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
my question is, when you're saying district, do you mean supervisory union?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So onboarding is done at individual buildings?
Currently, correct. It's very clunky. Each building has its own process, so this would be streamlining the building access process.
So that will happen at the SVSU central office then?
Correct.
I
All
just
the other
understood what you're
onboarding
saying.
happens here, so it's just that one piece.
And I guess I want to add that the systems that we're replacing are 20+ years old. The useful life of the systems is about 10 years. So we're well past its useful life. And so not only is this adding operational efficiency, it's also avoiding potential failures, which we're actively experiencing in one of the buildings.
So is the person gets access to their building only, the building they work in? It differentiates by building. Okay.
I guess 2 questions. One, Adam, is this scalable where it's like a QR code that's issued with an employee ID card at Central for the first time that can then be updated to say, like, we'll let them into this building, that building, et cetera. So that's the easy one. The second one is the licensing. I'm having great difficulty understanding why we have to carry a license for not only a door, but for an intercom system that we're purchasing with outright funds.
So the licensing piece, you know, I always look at it as it's also a warranty and guarantee of support. So that currently exists in these legacy systems. Where we have to pay a recurring licensing fee. It's just the company that we've been working with and the way the industry's been moving. It's more upfront and they're saying like, hey, this is the cost. The way that we look at it from an IT department is we try to purchase licensing across the life of the equipment. So we're not coming to you saying like, hey, we're gonna buy all this equipment and then we're gonna add an annual recurring fee. We're coming to you saying like, hey, we're gonna purchase this equipment and we're gonna buy licensing that is in correlation with the lifespan of the equipment.
So if I'm hearing that correctly, also, you're telling me that this equipment has a lifespan of 5 years?
So we requested 5-year licensing. It's in the tech operation budget to renew that. The life expectancy of this equipment is 10 years. So
Likely gonna be asked to renew in 5 years?
correct. We will renew the licensing in 5 years, and that's budgeted for in the general fund.
Can you explain, so there are 10 door controllers. Can you just walk through, Adam, and just explain what each of these components are?
Yep. I can give you a visual. Access control. Laura, I'm gonna ask for access. If you can make me a co-host, or if you're not a co-host, that's okay.
Yeah, Renee's giving you access right now.
Thank you.
Yes.
This is so much.
I gotta do it on here, sorry.
It's okay.
I mean, as
Very-
co-host, I can't, the host has to.
Got it.
And Adam, I think the other thing that you didn't mention though was that the door readers are only swapping out what's existing, right? We're not fitting up every single door in every single building, so it's just basically taking what's there and swapping out with the new, basically the stuff that we have here in the office.
Correct. So what a door reader is when you swipe into any of the buildings currently, there's a device that looks somewhat like this on each door. And basically the ID badge that's issued to a team member, or I don't have my keys in front of me, but there's key fobs that we issue as well. And that allows someone to tap it up to this door reader. And then that ultimately grants them access. The system that we're implementing also allows us to issue Bluetooth keys. So what that means is, you know, if there's like a community member that rented the building over the weekend, we can literally through an email grant them access to the building for the period that they rented the building without actually issuing a physical key. It gives us a easy to use web interface. We've already started showing and working with HR on how to use this. Where currently the current system is pretty legacy, requires special applications, which is why it's very IT heavy to issue key card access. And then this is the behind the scenes components. This is what's called the controller that gives people access, that actually controls the door readers. The other piece to this, so that's those 8 or those 10 door readers that you asked about. The other piece to this is upgrading the district's, I call it the Ring doorbell. But that's that doorbell piece where someone walks up to the building, presses a button, and then it lets them you know, it calls the front desk or it calls whoever within the building. The current system is literally, there's a door reader and then it's directly wired to a single interface. The new system that we've been deploying allows us, it's software defined. So, you know, one of the positive reviews that we received from one of the secretaries is like, you know, they can be walking amongst the building and they can have an iPad in their hands and get those calls and actually answer people at the doorbell versus having to sit and be dedicated to that desk. So this is the other component to the system that we're upgrading is the video or the Ring, that enterprise doorbell that we're upgrading.
And the funding, I think we had it on the summary, but it's local funds within the IT budget as it stands right now. So that's something that all the operating districts pay an assessment for. So this will be supporting all of our buildings.
So are you saying this was planned? This was in a budget plan?
He's been able to shuffle some things around within his budget, and not renewing certain things has left him with basically surplus money. So
Okay, so we can fund this with what was
yeah,
planned.
planned for this year.
Okay, okay.
So that's why we're coming to you now, because we do want to use FY25 funds. And basically that would leave FY26's budget intact, and then also helps just move us in the right direction of consolidating.
And you've done 4 buildings, 5 buildings already?
Yeah, so this would be consolidating. There's currently 4 systems out there. There's a system dedicated to Arlington. There's a system used to be dedicated to Bennington Elementary. I came forward to the ED or the elementary board, and we upgraded Bennington Elementary. So that system is now in the direction that we're headed. It's been upgraded. But they had their own unique system. The middle school has its own unique system. And then the outlying elementary schools have their own unique system. So we've currently upgraded Bennington Elementary, the high school, and central office. So we're ultimately, the next steps is to upgrade the rest of the buildings and bring them all into the same system.
Okay, so those ones that you have listed already have this new system that you're gonna be deploying out to all of the other locations.
Correct.
Got it, okay.
This records information about who's accessing through that doorway?
So it keeps a 1-year retention log, is what's currently set to be retained. But yes, there is a retention log as far as who's accessing the building, and accessing certain, you know, whichever door they swipe into.
Okay. I feel like we do our motions and our discussions backwards, but be looking for.
We're supposed to.
Right, you're supposed to do the motion and then have a discussion.
Then we discuss.
Yeah, well, here we
This
are.
is fine. This works.
So it went out to bid to 3 organizations. Only one actually responded with a bid, and that was the SHI that you have presented. So we're looking for a motion to award SHI International in the amount of $61,465.92 to provide SVSU with the hardware.
So this is a single offer. That's what we're.
It's
There's
changed.
no
So, you know, I submitted this on Friday, and I literally got a message 4 hours ago that one of the other 3 people that we solicited, I think we solicited a total of 5, but I only listed the 3 that showed interest in it, and one of them did respond. And they came back with a quote of 85,000 for the same exact hardware that SHI responded with. So yeah, that's your alternative option. As of 4 hours ago, there was another vendor that replied with the same hardware the SHI replied with, and they came in at about 85,000, just under 85,000.
So to clarify, you're talking just the hardware, not the licensing on top of that?
It's hardware and licensing,
Included in the 61,000.
correct?
The fiscal guy in me can't send 22,000 to chase $8,000 worth of equipment. It just doesn't compute.
22 to chase 80, the license.
Yeah.
The 61,000 includes hardware and licensing.
But line by line, 5-year door license is looking at 34 card readers totaling $7,900. Licensing to keep it up is 22,000. That is unbalanced.
Licensing is just for the software.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's not,
licensing is to run the
that's not
system.
dissimilar from any other licensing that you purchase. Microsoft, all of that software style licensing is, they're constantly keeping it updated. They're doing new things with it. They're improving it. So that's what you're paying for with the licensing.
And is that going to, that will all be within the hardware? The hardware won't be changing?
Correct.
So we still don't have a motion.
I heard somebody
Wait,
say
Adam,
so moved.
Can I just ask a question real quick? Adam, does this also include any sort of maintenance to the hardware?
So the hardware that we're purchasing, and the software component includes the maintenance. So if there's an issue with the hardware, all we need to do from an IT team perspective is message the company, call the company, whatever, and they provide next day service.
So it includes that support as well.
Correct. That's
Okay.
part of that software licensing component. And as long as we have an active software agreement, they provide an active warranty for the hardware.
And I did move the motion to award it to that company.
I'll second it.
Okay. Celeste made the motion, Scott second. We've gone through a lot of discussion and questions, but just, is there any further discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstaining? Okay,
I abstained. Yes.
2 abstentions. Carries. The only other item, thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
The other item on our agenda is an executive session, and unfortunately, I printed it and I can't read it, so if my printer tried to print in some weird color, VSA
VSA 313
4.
for a disciplinary or dismissal action against a public officer or employee, but nothing in this subsection shall be construed or to impair the right of such officer or employee to a public hearing if formal charges are brought.
And can we invite Nick Galt to come into the executive session, please?
So we're looking for a motion to enter an executive session under the guidelines that Renee read and invite Nick Gall.
So moved.
Make that motion.
Celeste made the motion, Glenn second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. There is no action under this on the agenda. So for anybody who's on that might be waiting for some action coming out of this, there isn't anything on the agenda for action.